So it says here, Larry Wills further explains why he didn't sign a prenup with his supermodel wife on Clavicular Stream. It signals to my wife that I don't trust her, and I do. The internet knows I've been transparent about my addiction, and my wife has been very forgiving and willing to work with me on that, and I think that I owe her a lot. Ooh, God, okay. Let's watch the clip, chat. I'm going to watch it one time through with no commentary, then we'll play it again and give commentary. That's normally how I do my reactions.
You know, the prenup arrangement, it kind of like puts a little bit of a dark aura on the relationship, I would say.
I think it signals to my wife that I don't trust her. Mm-hmm. And I do. And beyond that, the internet knows I've been transparent about my addiction, and my wife has been very forgiving and willing to work with me on that. And I think like I owe her a lot, you know, and we're a team, we build together. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like it's right to make a contract before we even gave our marriage a try, saying that, well, when we get divorced, as if I'm saying we're gonna get divorced in the future. I think marriage is supposed to be like a lifelong journey, mm-hmm. not like there shouldn't be an expiration date, yeah. Right? That, you know, oh, well, I'm already thinking that we're gonna lose, we're gonna fail, and this is what you should get. You know, it doesn't feel right to me. Yeah.
I mean, the thing that I do like about prenuptial arrangements is it sort of ensures a...
So his argument is she's been with him and he doesn't want to start the relationship with ill will, right? So let's go through this again. So we played it one time through no interruptions, right? So you guys can really take it all in. Now we're going to go ahead and give some commentary on this.
You know, the prenup arrangement, it kind of like puts a little bit of a dark aura on the relationship, I would say.
I think it's...
Look, you guys can see, as soon as he brought up the prenuptial agreement, look at how annoyed she is. Look at her face. Pay attention to his wife.
You know, the prenup arrangement, it kind of...
She's like, here we go, bro. Here we go, bro.
Like, puts a little bit of a dark aura on the relationship, I would say.
Gives him the side eye, looks at Larry, like, really, nigga?
I think it signals to my wife that I don't trust her. Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, bro. It's not about not trusting your wife. You're trusting your wife to be a woman, okay? That's the truth here, all right? Let's break this down, all right? It's not about whether you trust your wife or not. It's about trusting your wife to be a woman. Now, this begs the question, what is a woman? Well, we have to have a very uncomfortable conversation here. And this is something that your brother, your uncle, your father probably didn't teach you about women. But the reality is this, my friends. If you're going to take away one thing from this broadcast, I need you guys to take away this fact. Women date and have relationships with men from an opportunistic standpoint. I'm going to say that again. Women deal with men from an opportunistic standpoint. And to not be aware of this handicaps yourself and sets yourself up for failure. Because what a lot of guys hope and pray is that women love them like their mother loves them, which is idealistically loving them no matter what. But what guys need to wake up to is that women, number one, conditionally love you at best. And then number two, conditionally love you on the premise that you provide some type of value to her. There's something called Briffault's Law, okay? And this is a law, pretty much, that's all across the animal kingdom. And it states, the 20th century anthropology theory stating that the female, not the male, determines all conditions of the animal family, and the female's association with the male only continues if she derives benefit from it, okay? Very important, guys. And this applies to virtually all relationships all across the animal kingdom and humans as well, that since women determine the condition of the relationship, their association is heavily contingent upon the man's ability to provide value. This is why when women date and or get with men, they look at men from an opportunistic lens. What do I mean by this? The things that women find most attractive: height, strength, income, status, the ability to provision and protect long term. What is the common theme of all of these things that I mentioned? They are what? Security-based. Okay? Meanwhile, what do men look for in women? Is she hot? We're a lot simpler. So, in other words, men are looking for replication value, aka can you give me children? And women are looking for security value. Can you provide for me and my offspring long term? Now, let me be clear about this. Does this mean that women don't care about looks? No. But I think it's important to understand that looks are simply a component to the sexual market value equation, for lack of a better term. So for us, it's looks and everything else is kind of like a second, distant, third, or fourth place, right? For women, looks are a component of a complex matrix because every woman is different. So in other words, some women might be totally okay with a guy that's average looking, but they put a bigger stake on his status. Some women might care a lot about looks and might not necessarily care so much about status, but they care about income. Some girls might say, I only care about income and I don't give a shit about looks. But the bottom line is that for men, there's an entire checklist of things that must be accomplished for the girl to be attracted. And this list typically is heavily weighed upon security, okay? Most men don't care about a woman's ability to earn income, be strong, and protect them. No, they're like, unless you're, most guys don't give a shit about that. But women, on the other hand, do, okay? So why do I tell you guys all this? I tell you guys all this so that you understand that women date you opportunistically. And this is something that Larry is clearly, maybe he's not aware of it, maybe he's purposely disregarding it. But the reason why prenuptial agreements are so important is because since women date opportunistically, you must create fail-safes and safety measures to mitigate risk. Why? Because in 2026 and beyond, this modern day society that we have, marriage is no longer a viable option for men. There's almost no upside to marriage. And if you don't agree, name one thing that a guy can get via marriage that he can't get from just being in a regular long-term relationship. I'll save you the headache. Nothing. You can virtually get everything that you need from a woman without marrying her, okay? Let me also mention this too. Now, marriage used to be kind of like a reward for women. It also was a way to kind of, create families, etc. And there's other benefits from before. But unfortunately, the way that marriage is now, it's no longer of benefit for you as a guy to get married, especially if you're like the breadwinner and you make all the money. Because we live in a society now where women are incentivized to marry you, leave you, and then take half your shit. Okay? So in other words, the marriage laws have not caught up with feminism. The reason why divorce laws, family court laws, and alimony, etc., are all extremely favorable to women is because prior to the feminist revolution of the 1960s, women were heavily dependent upon their partner for resources and support. So one of the ways that the court system was able to kind of make things a bit fair was by penalizing the man should he decide to divorce the woman and try to leave her out destitute. Because the government understood that if this guy kicks this woman to the curb and there's no negative consequences for that, we are going to be stuck paying the bill. We have to pay for the welfare. We have to pay for all the social problems. So we're going to go ahead and just get our money from the guy to go to her so they don't have incentive to divorce her. Now, this was a good check and balance back then because the man worked, the woman stayed at home, there was a social construct. But here's the problem, okay? Now, women make their own money. Now, women have their own status. Now, women have more opportunity than men do. And in a lot of cities, women are making more money than men do. Now, the issue is that the family courts have not caught up to this. They still have laws in place as if it's 1956 versus us being in 2026. And this is very dangerous for you as a guy because they're still acting like you're the sole breadwinner when a lot of the times you're not. And you're more than likely not going to get the kids, which is also going to be another thing not in your favor that's going to obligate you to pay her even more money. And the other thing too people need to understand is this ugly reality. When it comes to marriage, right? Typically the contract goes like this. The guy takes care of the woman, the man provides for the woman, the man protects the woman, etc. Right? And he's on the hook for doing that. From the female side, she raises the kid, she gives him sexual access, she obeys him, and she submits to him, right? Now, here's the difference. When a divorce happens, guess who's still on the hook to commit all the requirements as if they're still married? The man. You are still obligated to pay child support. You are still obligated to give her alimony. You are still obligated to, a lot of the times, give her the marital home. She's still entitled to 50% of everything that you made while you were with her. Meanwhile, do you get anything that you were supposed to get during the marriage? No. She don't gotta give you sex. She don't gotta do anything for you anymore. So in other words, that divorce, you are still on the hook for everything that you signed up for. Meanwhile, she's not. Are you guys starting to see why this is a problem and why the concept of not having a prenuptial agreement in 2026 is, I don't give a how nice the girl is. I don't give a what she's done. Larry is justifying his foolish decision of not signing a prenuptial agreement with this woman based on her tolerating some of his bad habits. But what he doesn't understand is that his woman is no different than another woman. In other words, she is with you opportunistically, okay? And when the opportunity arises for her to leave and get a better deal, she more than likely will. And I can tell from the way that she communicates with him, the way she looks at him, the way she behaves, etc. This is a woman that, quite frankly, is just waiting for the clock, okay? I suspect that she's a foreign national, probably got what's called the I-485, which is a document that's used to register and become a green card holder in the United States. Typically need to get married and make it work for somewhere between 2 to 3 years. I anticipate that she's with him, not just for the money, but also for adjusting her immigration status here. She's a Serbian national, right? He met her in Dubai, which is another red flag. Anyone that's ever been in Dubai understands that Eastern European women in Dubai 9 out of 10 times are escorts. Hey, don't hate me. I'm just telling y'all the truth. Anyone that lives in Dubai knows this shit. She was a flight attendant, another high-risk profession. We know statistically speaking, nurses and flight attendants are one of the worst professions for a long-term female partner. They tend to be the most promiscuous. If it quacks like a duck, sounds like a duck, what do you guys think? A lot of times it tends to be a duck, right? So we've covered a lot here from the psychological perspective, so let's put this all with a nice bow. Number one, women mate opportunistically, looking for security value, protection, provisioning, etc. Okay? This woman has been with him for a few years, and he claims that she's been by his side during addiction or whatever, but that does not refute the fact that she is still a woman, and it's in her nature to date opportunistically, and we live in a modern society that does not penalize her for this if she were to leave you and take half your shit. That's the problem. We don't have shame, we don't have religion. All these institutions that used to be in place to curb female are gone. So now, thanks to no-fault divorce, another feminist construction, she can get up and leave at any time with no explanation and take half your shit, Larry. And you add it to the fact that this is a woman from Eastern Europe. You add it to the fact this is a woman that's a foreign national. You add it to the fact that you met this woman in Dubai. You add it to the fact that she comes from a profession that is high risk, flight attendant. You add it to the fact that her Instagram has no pictures of you. You add it to the fact that she saves images of higher status men contacting her, like she did with me with Instagram, which is weird, for 3-4 years. You add it to the fact that her Instagram profile has you nowhere in there, and she has a bunch of scantily clad photos of herself, purporting herself to be single, by the way, which is why I hit her up in the first place, which, you know, like I said, I don't remember if I did or whatever. If I did, I apologize for nothing. I don't give a... But the point I'm trying to make is, if you look at her profile, it looks like she's single, okay? So you add in all of this stuff. You look at the totality of the circumstances here, I would say that Larry is cruising for a cruising. Not physically, of course, but I mean financially, mentally, etc. If you look at all the factors here, and you look at all the facts, you look at the, the pattern of behavior, you look at how she treats him, you look at how she behaves, how her social media profile is set up, how she disrespects him, how she said some bullshit the other day about, I can have guy friends, but he can't have girlfriends. Like, this is a guy that doesn't have frame in this relationship whatsoever. Gives her $50,000 a month allowance, all this shit. You know what I mean? She backtalks him. She second guesses him. Like, this is a problem, bro. And she's put him in a bad spot where she's like tarnished his credibility. So given the landscape and female psychology and female nature, it is extremely irresponsible and foolish for a man of Larry's financial stature and social accolades to not sign a prenuptial agreement with a woman that has a questionable past, questionable behavior, questionable social media profile. It's foolish. It's foolish. And when Clavicular told him yesterday, like, hey, just go talk to another girl, I bet you $10,000 she won't leave. And he said, oh, well, she'll divorce me if I do that. She's got this nigga trapped, bro. She's got this guy trapped because she's going to get 50% of everything he's earned over the past couple of years. So this is where we are. Give me ones in the chat if that all makes sense. I went into an extremely detailed analysis of female nature and bringing it back here. But give me ones if that makes sense. If you don't understand, put a 2 and tell me why. I pride myself on trying to put my thoughts to you guys in a manner where you'll understand and learn. Because this type of information will change your life, guys, and save you from being cooked, okay? Literally, like, this is the information that your brother, your father, your uncle should have taught you. And no one likes to talk about because this is considered extremely taboo and misogynistic, but it's the truth, dude. It literally is the truth. Once you understand female nature to a deep level like this, it's very difficult to unsee it. Let me be clear about this too, and I'll end on this before we keep watching this clip. I don't hate women. As much as I make jokes and I say that they're stupid, which I think they are stupid, I don't hate. Actually, on the contrary, I provide this information to you guys so that you guys don't hate women for what they'll never be to you, which is what? An idealistic lover. A lot of you guys want your girl to love you under any condition like your mom. Sorry, that's not how the world works, and that's not how women may select. A woman's love is absolutely conditional. And the faster you figure that out, the faster you can move on with your life and not take it personal and get pissed off at them. Because it's the guys that don't understand women that end up hating them the most because they look at them like, what the f? But once you understand this uncomfortable truth and you swallow that bitter red pill or black pill, whatever you want to call it, you'll understand them and you won't be mad.